So recently, a number of Hollywood celebrities have made the news because of their hygiene habits. And by habits, I mean these people are being pretty open that they don't like to shower. Apparently, Ashton Kutcher doesn't like to bathe. He washes his crotch and his groin daily, but other parts of the body, nah, he doesn't wash those ever. Jake Gyllenhaal comes out the other day saying that as time goes on, I find bathing to be less and less necessary. He goes on to say that we also naturally clean ourselves. Now, Jake, I see what you're trying to do there. If we all smell bad, we got to cover it up with your new fragrance, right? But seriously, guys, what's going on? You see some guys like Robert Pattinson being talking about how they smell because they never shower. Other people, like Brad Pitt, people say he smells heavenly. And again, this guy doesn't apparently shower very often. And then you got guys like The Rock jumping in and saying, hey, I'm not part of that smelly crew. I shower 3 times a day. So this raises the question, does the body clean itself? What are the societal norms when it comes to bathing? What have been our bathing routines throughout history? And were our ancestors dirtier or cleaner? And finally, what's the ideal bathing routine? Find out the answers and more, gents, in today's video, The Strange History of Bathing. So first up, the parts that clean themselves. The ears. Your ears naturally push out wax and clean themselves. There's no need to use Q-tips, and in fact, I would recommend that you do not stick Q-tips in your ear. Instead, just go through with a wet towel and clean the outside, removing wax. That's all you need to do. And by the way, if you ever get earwax jammed into your ear, as I did this summer, just simply go to a doctor and they will simply flush out your ear canal. It feels amazing and it does a great job of removing that compacted wax. Next up, we've got your eyes. When you blink, you are cleaning your eyes. And one of the best things that you can do is stay hydrated, drink plenty of water. You really don't have to use eye drops unless you're dealing with some type of irritation and your eyes are really dry. Next up, let's talk about your mouth. Your mouth is not self-cleaning, especially with the diet that most of us eat. A lot of sugar, yes, that is very bad for the teeth. If you are not brushing your teeth twice a day, flossing and using a mouthwash and using a tongue cleaner, develop those habits, gents. You need to take care of your mouth. Next up, we've got the genitals. For women, yes, there is some self-cleaning going on, but for men, no, you need to wash and clean daily. And it should go without saying, that butt area, yes, wash and clean daily, especially if you got a lot of hair in there. And some of you guys may be asking, okay, what about our ancestors? Didn't they have a lot of issues with this? Not really, because they actually squatted and they spread the cheeks a little bit farther apart. Most of them didn't sit on the porcelain throne like we do nowadays that actually doesn't do a great job of, making sure that those buttocks are spread when you take care of business. Next up, we've got your hair. And this can go either way. There are some people saying that you don't need any shampoo, any product. Usually they've got good hair or they have short hair. If you've got longer hair, if you have hair with special needs, you're dealing with dandruff, if you're dealing with really oily hair, it may be something that really what you want to have is just simply the right product. Now, a lot of you guys probably know I'm one of the owners of the grooming company Vitaman. And one of the reasons I took an ownership stake is I loved how these guys specialized in different problems that men face and being able to use specific products to deal with, dry hair, oily hair. If you've got dandruff or things like that, if you've got really thin hair, how to be able to bring some volume to it. But the key with all the products is to make sure that you using the right product to solve your problem. If you're dealing with thinning hair, if you want to use a product that's not going to weigh your hair down, that's going to give volume to your hair naturally, check out our thinning hair treatment kit over at Vitaman. I'm going to put a link in the description. It'll be the best deal on the web. And if you're dealing with dry hair, check out our moisturizing shampoo and conditioner. If you have oily hair, check out our oil control shampoo and conditioner. And if you're looking for a skin protector or you've got bags under the eyes and you're looking for an eye cream, if you've got wrinkles and you want to get rid of them, check out our products over at Vitaman and use the link down in the description for the best deal on the web. And guys, we stand behind every product we sell with a 100% money back guarantee. So again, for the best deal on the web, use that link in the description. All right, so we talked about the self-cleaning. Now let's talk about societal norms. This is what's expected in your culture, in your country, in your area. And this changes from area to area, especially in places where you've got, different means. Some people have running water, not everyone does. Other times you've got people that are in hotter areas, people that maybe are engaged in sports, people that are just much more active, places where the weather just encourages you to get in that shower. Really, this is something that's being set in the area. In general, I would say the United States, showering once a day is the societal norm. Now, skipping a day here or there, no one's going to notice. A couple days, yeah, you may start to smell a bit ripe. At least most people believe you will. And if you were to tell someone you haven't showered for a week, they're going to get up and move away from you. Now, the thing with societal norms is that these are really unwritten expectations. They're not written down laws. These are things that are not enforced, and you can change it up. I would love to hear from you guys down in the comments, because I know you guys are from all over the world. What are the societal norms in your area when it comes to bathing? Is it something that people need to shower daily? Is it something, hey, you know a lot of people that shave or they shower only once a week? Let me know down in the comments. Random bathing law number 1, in the state of Georgia, it is illegal to keep a donkey in the bathtub. Aaron Marino, we're watching you.
This is so uncomfortable. I'm sorry.
Strangely enough, the state of Arizona also has donkeys in bathtubs on its law books. Apparently, a donkey can stand in a bathtub, but it's not allowed to sleep in a bathtub. Random bathing law number 2, in the state of Massachusetts, you can't go to bed without first taking a bath. And apparently in Boston, you need a doctor's prescription to take a bath. Random bathing law number 3, in the state of Arkansas, you are not allowed to put an alligator in your bathtub. That would make sense, right? And let's talk about California. Apparently there, you're not allowed to bathe 2 babies in the same bathtub at the same time, and make sure as well you're not eating an orange in the bathtub. The next random bath law, apparently in the state of Pennsylvania, you are not allowed to sing in the bathtub. I couldn't find anything about showers, but bathtubs are no-no. Next up, we got the great state of South Carolina, where apparently horses are not allowed to be held in the bathtub. You, horses in the bathtub, South Carolina, I have no idea what's going on there. Now, gents, if you've ever sat next to somebody on a bus or an airplane that, yes, needed to take a shower, do me a favor and smash that like button. Seriously, guys, if you're enjoying these type of videos, this helps me know that, hey, I should make more like them. Now let's address the question, did our ancestors have horrible hygiene? Was our great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, was he a smelly dude? That particular instance, sorry, I don't have information on him, but I will tell you, in general, it really depended on the living conditions. And there were Romans that are probably much cleaner back then than people are today. Because simply just look at all those Roman bathhouses. This is something that's well documented. They had the whole aqueduct system, but they also had these elaborate houses that were oftentimes free. People could go into and use the bathroom, clean themselves up, take a very detailed bath. And this is what's interesting about bathing. Even if they didn't necessarily understand, the hygienic purposes, what they did understand is this was a big part of culture. It was a part of religions. In fact, there are many of you guys over in India, Bangladesh, you guys know bathing multiple times a day. This is something that is encouraged. It really came down to the living conditions, what people had available to them. So if they lived near a river, it was a lot easier to go into the river. If they actually had a bathhouse in their area, if you had that stuff available to you, you oftentimes used it. In fact, the church, a lot of people say, oh, the church didn't want people bathing. And in fact, they told people that bathing was dangerous. What they thought was dangerous was actually getting submerged in water. A big part of that, people couldn't swim, and cold water, just believe that, you get chills. It just wasn't considered good for you to submerge yourself in water. But bathing, and we see this in the Philippines, we see this in other parts of the world, oftentimes what people would have is a pitcher of water, a pan, and they would do a sponge bath daily. The armpits, the growing area. It was well known that you wanted to be clean, that this was a good thing. So what does this have to do with societal norms? Well, let's go back 150 years ago. Indoor plumbing was not common in the United States. So it was expected that you bathed once a week. You usually did this on Saturday night. This is something after you worked Saturday at the farm, got the things done, you bathe, clean up, you go to bed clean, and then Sunday morning you're putting on your best and going to church. Why only once a week? Because it was difficult. And I experienced this over in Ukraine. If you guys have ever been to Kyiv during the summer, in the city, they actually turn off the hot water for like 3 weeks in different districts. And I happened to be in the area where they had it off. And guess what? If I wanted to take a warm bath and didn't want to use freezing water, I had to take these buckets and I had to heat it right on the stove. When I went out to the village for a couple weeks in Ukraine, it was something we actually didn't have much access to running water. It was just something that I was showering a lot less because it was very inconvenient. Now, I was, of course, doing sponge baths. Point being, though, is bathing routines are oftentimes set by what people have available. If it's very easy for them to get it in and out of a shower nowadays, like we've got with modern conveniences, yes, I think the once a day bathing routine is nice. It also fits with our natural clock, the 24-hour system. But if that's not the case and you have a very hectic schedule, if you've got multiple people living in a small apartment and you've got limited access to the bathing facilities, you can see where once a week actually made sense. Now, all of this leads to the question, what's the ideal bathing routine? How often should you take a shower? The answer? Well, it depends. Young children, babies, they actually can just get away with spot cleaning. You don't have to throw a baby in the bath daily. In fact, a lot of pediatricians recommend that you don't do anything but spot cleaning on the baby. And when it starts to move around and crawl, that's when you start to put the baby in the bathtub. When it comes to kids, I find it's easy to have my kids take a bath, but really they could go maybe two baths a week is going to be perfectly fine unless they're out there getting dirty. And that's the key, is if you're not dirty, do you necessarily need to bathe? And the answer is it depends again on your age. Are you going through that hormone phase? You're a teenager. You're in your early 20s. You are sweating a lot. You're exercising. You smell. In this case, bathing every single day, maybe even twice a day, especially after a workout, makes perfect sense. Now, some of you guys dealing with disabilities, some of you guys are a bit older and it's harder to move around. Do you still need to bathe every day, especially if it's hard getting in and out of the tub? The answer is no. Again, you can do spot cleaning, but bathing every couple days, every few days is probably going to be perfectly fine, especially again, if you're not breaking a sweat, if you're not out there getting dirty. And gents, I want to reiterate on the point of getting the right product that isn't too harsh on the skin. And yes, I've got a great deal down in the description for my company, Vitamin. But even if you don't buy my products, go out there and find a product that's going to work for you. Quick story, as a kid, I was a teenager and I thought, hey, I'm going to buy this lava soap. It had pumice or however you pronounce it in it. And I washed my face and hands thinking that was a good thing. No, I was red and it just hurt. I stripped away probably 2 or 3 layers of skin. Point being is I way overdid it. And a lot of people do this as well. We think that we need to get down to the bone. No, you don't. I mean, it's take care of your skin. Just get off that first layer. And really the way soap works is it goes in there, it attaches to, dirt particles and it pulls them off. And it shouldn't do that going deep into your skin. It shouldn't do that with all the, oils that you naturally have there. If it's doing that, then it's probably too harsh. And that's the kind of stuff where people are saying, yeah, only shower every other day. Wash your face, maybe once a day, every other day if those chemicals are harsh. But my recommendation is to wash your face twice a day. And anytime you wash, especially if you are an athlete, you're washing your hair multiple times a day, use a shampoo that is gentle, specifically made to be, gentle so it doesn't pull away too much moisture or oils. All right, gents, now it's your turn. I want to hear from you down in the comments. What did I miss? What would you have added? How many times a day do you take a shower? Let me know down below. All right, Jen, so what video to watch next? How about why were the Nazis so stylish? This is part of my new history series. If you haven't seen this video, check it out. I went into a lot of detail and I seriously asked the question, why were those uniforms? Why are they so iconic today? Why do people still talk about them 80 years after the war? Find out, guys, in this video right here.